still hungry for souls to be saved? Who still wants God to shift some things and cause lives around you to be blessed? Who wants their neighborhoods people getting up talking about God bless you when you walk out on the sidewalk? Who wants a city that says to God be the glory? Who wants an atmosphere who says I'm after God, I'm running after him, and I believe God's going to make a way? Who wants to get on the bus and sit next to somebody and say God bless you and his peace be with you? Who wants to be in the atmosphere where somebody says there's a move of God on your life? And I'm certain that God's about to shift you into a greater place. It's all about understanding where is the evangelistic church. I need somebody, if you're part of it, just to say it ain't dead, I'm still here. My God, I'm still here, alive and well. He's been so good to me, I'm not afraid to talk about how great he's going to be in my atmosphere. Every time I get a chance, I'm going to magnify him. Don't make me do it by myself. Why don't you magnify him with me? Come on, let's lift him up and magnify him, because God is a good God, not just part of the time, but all of the time. Somebody help me preach and say he's good all of the time. Sit down, y'all. This brings me to today's message, because today's message gives us an opportunity to look at how strong we are because of what we believe. What have we done to promote this wonderful day of the Lord's church? The fact is that a part of the challenge with practicing corporate relationship is that it is literally made up of people who have often not become settled and mature in handling their individual insecurities. And sometimes it's very difficult to get together if you ain't comfortable with your own self. Somebody here talk to your neighbor and say it's hard to get together. Now we're going to get into the real problem with Acts, because the real problem with Acts 2 was that they really got together. They really understood that they have to have all things in common. And they understood the next thing to be able to get there. It is crucial to find strength within yourself. Somebody talk to your neighbor and say it's crucial to find strength within yourself. I'm saying this to you because until you recognize, acknowledge, and challenge your own weaknesses, you'll never discover your real strength. Let me say it to you again. Until you recognize, acknowledge, and challenge your own weaknesses, you'll never discover your own real strength. If we are to declare improvement on any issue or in any matter of life, it should be three things. It ought to be measurable, it should be actual, and it needs to be available. What's the first one I said? It should be what? It should have beneficial and evidential results. What's the second thing? It should be what? Actual. It should be not figurative, but it needs to be real. The third thing, it needs to be what? Available. It needs to be ready and in real time. And so when we begin to do this, Paul encourages us to lay out this in a clear manner of how we deal with life in Ephesians 6 and 10, where he says, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. Somebody help me look at your neighbor and say, be strong in the Lord. Don't be strong in the world and weak in God, but be strong in the Lord and in the powers of his might. Finally, in the conclusion of all matters, family of God, take ownership of your authority and endorse it with your actions. Choose the strength you have from God and the unlimited ability of his sovereign capacity. The power of his might. God can make it happen for you if you can trust him through it. Just trust him. Now, when we look at this, the individuality adoption of this, that should be possibly a bit of research that we all do when we look at two things that help us get to this place and get over our issues with being able to get on one accord. The first one is humility, and the second one is care. Somebody said that humility, care. Now the reason why I mention that, because many of us don't look at it this way, but the Lord had them come step by step, side by side in the word. When you look at 1 Peter 5 and 6, he says, humble yourself under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time. Then you get to verse 7, he says, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. Let's take a good look at this, because he's talking about humility, and then he's talking about care. He's talking about, what did I say? Humility. And then he's talking about care. It's a big issue when there's a challenge where humility and care, we falter in our ability to actually release what God wants us to have. In relationship between humility and care, the question is, when you are practicing humility, are you being humble or are you needing attention? Because some people consider themselves practicing humility, and really what they're really doing is needing attention. I want to talk to y'all. Look at your neighbor and say, let's sit down for a few minutes and have a conversation. Come on. Because humility is not saying, it's not insane or refusing an opportunity to promote yourself. It is also not describing what you don't need or avoiding privilege based upon its appearance to others. But humility is found in honesty and grateful and gratefulness, embracing three things: embracing purpose, embracing prosperity, and God's meaning for it, in which, when it is appropriately given back with love and with service, it in turns glorifies God. So it's not about just what you make stuff looking like, because three questions have to show up immediately. The first one is, can I look humble? Come on, ask your neighbor, say, can I look humble? The second question is, what does humble look like? And the third question is, if humility had a choice, would it choose me to represent it? Ask your neighbor, say, now how humble are you? Ask your neighbor, say, how humble are you? I'm just asking some questions because I really want us to use our thinking cap as we step from one place to another in our dialogue here, because humility does have an appearance, but the appearance is never measured fully by what men can see with their eyes or what you look like, but more how you act, what you respect, and what you do. That's how humility shows up. Y'all looking at me like I'm crazy, because some of y'all have, as all of us, have worked on looking humble. But the whole deal is that humility is not caught up in your look. Tell your neighbor, it's not caught up in your look. Yeah. My fact is that if you show me someone who's humble, and I'll show you someone who's given their time, given their life, and given their resource without reciprocal or equal reimbursement. Somebody who does stuff and don't ask you to call their name, not trying to get credit for it. People who know how to love and don't need to get the approval of somebody else. They don't need to get the record out there or the word out there. Humility lets you do what you're supposed to do, because that's who you are and that's who he is, and that's based upon your relationship and not that what you do with somebody else. I hope y'all hear what I'm saying to you today. And so we all have to decide whether we want God to bless us because we are a recipient or a giver. Let me just stop there for a minute. All of us got to decide that I want God to bless me because I'm a recipient or a giver. Now we all inevitably will be both at some particular times. But humility urges us by saying, God, make me a blessing. Now you talking. Look at your neighbor and say, that's where humility lives. Tell your neighbor, that's where humility lives. And so listen, go and look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, you don't have to come looking sorry anymore. You don't have to fix your face like you're going through. You don't have to look like you're going through a storm. You don't have to look like things are. Listen here, because you can't falsify humility. Humility comes out in your action. You serve first. You love first. You prefer first. You put things in a place where you make sure God gets the glory of how you bless others that are in your atmosphere. Look at your neighbor and say, that's what humility is about. When he says here, he tells you to take your humility and put it under the mighty hand of God, that he might exalt you. Then you don't put your humility and present it to men. Men don't know what they gonna do with your humility. He said, give it to God that he may exalt. Somebody help me here. Tell your neighbor, give it to God so he can exalt you. Now, remember I said humility had a part partner here, and the next partner was care. Somebody here help me. Say, let's talk about care a little bit here. Humility also needs our care. I said this because relational disappointment and skepticism sometimes clearly alter our intention toward having positive and open care. Sometimes we want to care, but we got too much stuff and baggage for us to be able to care the way we need to care. Why are you saying it like this? Well, think about this. People who are often skeptical of what they do not clearly understand or have not actually researched, that sometimes there's a hint of insecurity happening at the same, if it's happening at the same time of their interaction, there's going to be automatic in the atmosphere a mistrust and an uncertainty until real relationship is established and proven. Here it is, because sometimes we want people to care about what we care about. You see, when you care about something, earn your support that you need to accomplish it. Let me just back that up because I know you missed totally what I said. When you care about something, earn your support to accomplishment. Many people feel like because I care about this and because it's good, y'all oughta. You should. Earn your support. Look at them and say, earn your support. You got to earn your support for things you want people to care about. Because it's number one on your agenda does not mean that it's number one on everybody else's agenda. I wish somebody would come in the room and know what I'm talking about. And see, many of us sometimes get ourselves all rattled up and messed up. I'm doing a good thing, God, and they won't help me. Listen, don't claim a right to reap what you have not sown. Because when you want somebody to help you, you got to go back and look at your record and see how many people have you helped. Because if you're not helping, what makes you think you're supposed to get help that you want because you finally found something that you want to do? Oh, I need somebody to come in the room who know what I'm talking about. Because often people fool around and get mad because of what they don't see happening when they finally get it. Listen, I'm glad you got it. I'm glad you arrived. But bless somebody else so you can get blessed as well. Remember, be not deceived. God is not mocked. It is whatsoever a man soweth, that ye shall ye also. Look at your neighbor and say, if you wanted to come back, you need to give some of it out. Y'all not talking. Tell somebody, if you wanted to come back,